Welcome to Taste the Mango, and in these videos we're going to be demonstrating in real time some direct inquiry explorations where myself and Katrijn will take turns in asking each other to inquire through direct experience to a key question that points us to the non-dual nature of the human experience. And the first question we're going to explore into is, are we a body?
So we often have the feeling, or we believe that we are in the body, the human body, or at least that we have a body, that's somehow part of who we are. And what we can look at right now is whether we actually experience a body in direct experience. So if you go to your actual experience in this moment and try to ignore all the thoughts you have about what's going on, do you experience something called a body?
Right now, I only experience something that I know to call a hand or a body or some skin. I don't know that without that label. So in this moment, if I feel what I know is called my body, there's a sensation. So if I touch my hands together, there's a sensation appearing for me, but it's not a body until I have to add a bit in, which is obviously I've been adding in for 50 years, so 49. So it's very normal for me to do that. But if I take that bit off, as doesn't go direct, there's no body. There's no absolute body. There's just sensation.
Yes, so there are various sensations maybe. There's not the sensation of a body. There's the sensation maybe of where your body touches the chair, or maybe some sensations of what we call the eyes, or maybe some tension around the forehead. Can you describe that to me, the type of sensations that you are?
Yeah, so I'm standing right now, so there's no me on the chair, but there's certainly a feeling of a sensation that I would apportion to the thing I know is my feet, and I would put a word called solid to that because it feels solid. And it's just a sensation appearing. And then I can feel a little bit of my skin, my thumbs on my hands. I can feel my thighs, just what I'm calling my thighs for some reason. It's the skin over there. And if I blink, I can feel what I call my eyes and my eyelids. And they all feel like my body, but that's what I've called it.
Yeah, we can even go a level director and drop the my, right? And drop the name of the different parts.
Yeah.
And say there's the sensation of solidity.
Yes.
Down below somewhere, there's a sensation of tingling or a warmth.
Yeah, I could go, if I got rid of the my and I got rid of the appendage, I would say there's some solid, which is still again a word. There's some sort of tightness, some dryness on my hands. And there's a sort of like brushing sensation around eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So these, and then when we take off that layer of that it's mine, that I own it, and the layer of that this is actually a body part. So then we're left within this very direct experience of a set of sensations, and they're changing, right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, they come and go. I mean, just as you were talking now, there was no solidity, no tingly, no, just all disappeared. And now I said that word again, solid, they pop back.
Yes. So that's also a very important direct noticing that the sensations are not permanent and they come and go, but they change actually during the observation of them. They change when we don't observe them, when we don't have attention on them, always changing. And so deconstructing the whole concept of body, that's the name we give to something that is actually a morphing, pulsating, vibrating, coming and going of sensations. So do we ever experience something called a body?
No, no, there's no absolute body, not at all. And that's just the codification that we've given it.
That's
Experience.
the cognitive part of it, right? That's the thinking or the concepts that we put on top of the experience.
Right.
And when we inquire, we're always looking at this direct, non-cognitive or precognitive raw experience, the raw data um, that we observe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another way of looking at that is trying to find, again, in direct experience, an edge or a border to this set of changing sensations. Is there a place, can we find directly, so in the experience of it, can we find a place where that ends and the rest of the world begins?
Well, right now, I'd have to try quite hard to do that. I'd have to think about that. And as soon as I think about that, I can do it. I can go, there's a
Yeah.
start and finish. But before I think about it, no. So your question makes total logical sense to part of me, my conceptual mind, which goes, oh yeah, of course, I end there at the end of my finger. But
Yeah.
actually, before I add that thinking, no, it it's almost like it would blend into anything else in awareness, including things outside of what we would call the body. So it would almost become amorphous and dissolved into. I actually have to add in oh no, it ends there.
Yes.
And it's very, very seamless and natural to do that because, of course, that's what I've been taught to do from my conditioning. But actually, that isn't there initially.
Yeah, exactly. There's no raw sense data of an end or a border.
Not in the initial default, no.
Yeah.
That gets added in. Yeah.
Yes. So all the inquiry is always about this raw sense data before and even when we inquire about thinking, we're looking at the raw sense data, the observation of thought and not the thinking about the thought. So that's on when we go into thinking. We'll see how that works. But here
Yeah.
with the
And can I just say something about that at an experiential level? So you just described that really nicely at a sort of technical level. So it's being able to just notice very neutrally what is there. I'm going to use a time word before and the backdrop before very quickly this thinking comes in. It's going back to this very almost nothing ordinariness before everything else comes in, and just being able to pull those bits apart before that second order of thinking comes in. And that's the bit I think it takes a few little goes to, there it is. But once you start seeing it, it's like, oh yeah, it's much easier to see. So I think experientially there's just a very quieter knowing about that bit before all the other stuff comes in.
yes.
Let's do a little direct inquiry
into the body. So, Katrijn, right now in this moment, if I ask you to experience the body, what turns up for you within awareness?
So I feel my legs on the floor. I'm actually sitting on the floor. And I feel some, I guess, tension in my back from doing some exercises yesterday. And there's an itchy bit on my arm, on the right arm. I'm just kind of scanning.
Yeah. So as you do that scanning, can you notice any difference between the meaning you're putting to the sensation and the raw sensation? Like the location maybe of it?
Oh, what do you mean by difference?
So if you go really direct,
Hmm.
you didn't know you had a back or a floor or a shoulder, what would you notice?
So there's pressure
Mm-hmm.
and itchy
Mm-hmm.
and um yeah, I guess a pulling feeling, pulling or pressure pulling.
Mm-hmm. So that itchy pressure pulling without attribution to a body part, is that yours? How do you know what that is? What is that?
Well, I think I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, which was the explanation in the first bit.
Mm.
But just the pure sensation of it, I have very little idea what that is.
Mm. So the I think I know bit, does that come, although it might be a microsecond, does that come after the just the pure sensation bit?
That's actually a really fascinating question because just as I was exploring this, I thought maybe I was looking for things.
Mm.
So there was also, oh, well, I did the exercises yesterday, so I must feel something in my back.
Ah,
And then the sensation appeared.
yeah. And you mentioned scanning. I'm scanning. Well, what's scanning? What was scanning?
My attention.
Mhm. When that scanning was happening, there was a noticing of sensation.
Yes.
And just go to that right now. As you scan right now, and that noticing of sensation, can you see the meaning, how quickly the meaning comes in, as opposed to just the raw sensation?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, now I really have to create the meaning.
Mm.
So, yes, yes. And I learned something new because I just realized that sometimes the meaning precedes the sensation.
As in pre-scan, there's a thought, there may be a tension in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So try this now. If you can do just the scan without the pre bit and out the post bit,
Mm.
What's that experience? If you could put anything to that, any words to that experience at all, what would you say?
At the moment, it feels very much like a set of vibrations.
Okay. And do those vibrations have any permanence?
No. No, because just during this conversation, they already changed 15 times.
And do they feel like they're coming from my body or even a body?
No. No, and as the focus goes to, for example, the what I call the itchy bit, that actually feels more like it's far away
Oh,
than close.
yeah. Right. So in that moment, is there any idea of a body being a container or a closed off separate thing to anything else?
No, no, the sensations feel like they're floating in space.
Mm, okay. Anything else?
That there's a sensation, the sensation of observing the sensations is also a sensation.
Right. But you can make the differentiation between the two now?
Yeah, but so there's also a sensation kind of behind the forehead that feels like it's the location of the observation of the other sensations.
Ah, and yeah. But can you also see that that made up location of the observer location is also just,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yes, because that wasn't there actually at the beginning of the scanning.
So it all comes and goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to know more about direct inquiry exploration or about Taste the Mango in general, or just have any questions, please do reach out and drop us a line, and all the details will be in the description of the video.